Hello, YouTubers. I wasn't going to bring this up, but any of you who have Spectrum, cable, internet, phone, whatever, I strongly urge you to get rid of it fast. And here's why. My mother, a lot of you people don't know, a lot of you on YouTube don't know yet. A lot of people on Facebook know, but my mother passed away recently from a devastating stroke. She's been dead for, it'll be a month tomorrow. And she had Spectrum cable. Well, none of them. We were staying at my mom's house because of the flood taking our house out. And I was here when she had the stroke. And none of us were watching the TV. So there was no reason to keep it going. I kept it on hoping she'd come back from the stroke, but she didn't. Okay, so I called Spectrum to have it turned off. And of course, we were experiencing high volume of calls. Of course, they can't handle the volume of calls they get. It takes forever to get through to anybody with a pulse. And so I gave up and tried again later. And probably about the third time, I finally got a hold of someone with a pulse and explained to them. And see, previously, because my mother was hard of hearing, they authorized me to make changes to her cable. Well, they wouldn't authorize me to turn it off. And I tried to explain to them, I don't have death certificates yet. She is deceased. No one here is watching TV. No one cares about cable. So then they said, well, we'll put you through to the cancellation department. So I was on hold again forever. I got frustrated and hung up. So then I called again another time at weird hours, hoping it would be faster. Went through the same thing, and of course the person I talked to was oblivious to what was going on. No one in this company talks to each other, apparently. So I had to explain the whole scenario again. And then, oh yeah, well, we're sorry for your loss, blah, 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 and we'll put you through the cancellation department. So I waited and waited and waited. It was quite a while. I finally got through. And I explained to him, well, you're not authorized, blah, 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 blah. I said, well, you can't talk to her. She's dead. I have her ashes here. I hate to sound crass, but I'm getting pretty fed up with them at this point. And so finally they said, well, okay, we'll put a ticket in, and so supposedly a ticket was put in, and they were supposed to call me back in a couple hours to confirm something. I don't know what. I don't know why they needed to call me back. I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And nobody called me back. So it was like 2 days later, I think. They called me. And I had to explain the whole entire thing over again. Because obviously nobody at Spectrum talks to anybody else at Spectrum. And they can use the excuse they're a big company. I don't care. Obviously it's mismanaged. They are by far the worst company I've ever dealt with on the phone about anything. And that includes collection agencies from a long time ago. They were easier to get along with. So I explained the whole thing. Went to the cancellation department. Okay, yeah, we have a ticket in. I see there's a ticket that's been submitted. And I'll let them know not to call you back, And, well, of course, they were supposed to call me again to confirm something. I don't know what. Which they never did. So they called again. Either they called me or I called them. I can't remember this time. And I had to go through the whole spiel again. And then they said, oh, we'll send you to the cancellation department. I said, yeah, again. I keep talking to the cancellation department. Nothing gets canceled. At this time, they're not liking me very much. And I don't care. So I talked to someone in the cancellation department. And they say, oh yeah, we have a ticket in the works. It'll be turned off. Yeah, and I'll instruct them not to call you. You know. Well, that worked for a while. Then the phone rang. Her phone, my mom's phone. I paid to keep it connected in case any claims come in against his estate. So I picked it up, and it was Spectrum, automated, of course. And then, push this button to talk to a representative. So I pushed it. And once again, it was like I just had talked to him for the first time. I had to explain everything again. And finally, they said, oh, well, you still have the equipment. I said, yeah, I will be more than happy to return it. And I said, well, we have a Spectrum store and UPS and this and that. And I'm a little bit hesitant to just take the box and take it to UPS and you say, here you go, send it back with no account number or nothing. That sounds kind of iffy to me. So I got him to agree to send me a box and a shipping label. And so I thought that was it. Well then, no more than about 30 minutes later, the phone rings again. And it's someone from Spectrum that doesn't know anything about any of this, again. So I had to explain again about my mother being dead and that no one here's watching TV. And, well, you still got to pay the balance on this account. Well, the previous lady told me she was going to prorate it. So obviously there'll be a final bill that will be different than the other bill. So I told her, I said, this officially goes into probate at 3 o'clock this afternoon, which it does. And when I get a final bill against the estate, then we'll look into it. And she said, oh, yeah, okay, well, And I said, again, sorry for your loss, have a nice day. And I said, yeah, and don't call me again. So, people, if you have Spectrum, I'd suggest getting rid of it. If you can, good luck. You probably can't even cancel. You can't get there from here. You got to start from somewhere else. It's insurmountable. Climbing Mount Everest might actually be easier. I'm so frustrated with them. I could think of all kinds of rotten things to do to them. But, it's not legal to commit violence upon anyone, so I wouldn't do that. And it wouldn't be against any of the individuals I talked to because it's not their fault personally. It's the company's organization or lack thereof. And I told them that too. They said, do you have any other questions or concerns? I said, yeah. I said, your company is the worst one I've ever dealt with on anything over the phone in all my 61 years of being alive on this planet. I said, it needs to be restructured. There's probably some fat cat at the top that's making gobs of money. Anyway, that's my rant about Spectrum Cable. And like they would say, have a nice day.